Hello, my stitchy soulmates. Welcome back to Hot Mess Hobbies. I am so glad to see everyone. Thank you for stopping in. If you are new and you enjoy this video, I would love it if you subscribed or at least like it so that I know that you're enjoying the content. But new and returning viewers, welcome to my hot mess little corner of the internet. I have about 2.5, 3 weeks of progress to show you. It is not as impressive as I'd hoped, but I'm still really pleased because it's more than I would normally get done. Small life update. I'm starting a new job on February 12th. I'm very, very excited about it. But I have been trying to do all the things, like all the doctor's appointments for me and for the kids, and take the car and have the car servicing done and get everything done so that when that time comes, I just have kind of a clean slate. Same thing with cleaning the house and doing the laundry and all those projects that I was like, well, I'll get to them eventually. I just want to have everything sort of, I'm in early spring cleaning mode, just get it done. So I've got all kinds of junk behind me. Hold on. My son's stuffy. Let's put that over there. That's a little better, a little less chaotic. I'll show you this in a minute. So, let me jump into what I actually accomplished, and then I'll go into plans, and then I will talk a little bit about a couple just stash acquisitions. But before I do that, a couple things to note. One, I am at no, I'm not. I said that wrong. I'm at 497 subscribers, which is insane. Oh my gosh. I am freaking out. Like, I literally almost cried. I was like, honey, this many people enjoy my videos. I'm so grateful. I'm so glad to share this with you all. So what I've decided is when I get to 500 subscribers, so I'm only 3 away, so tell your friends, I'm going to do a giveaway of something to do with cross stitch, something to do with knitting, something to do with quilting. So I'll do something from each of those categories as part of the giveaway. So I will have a 500 subscriber giveaway at some point. So that just blows my mind. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you all are enjoying this content. What was the next thing? See, I already forgot. It didn't take long, did it? I don't know. We'll get there. So I had my 2024 plans and whip parade video posted about mid-January. I think it was like the 18th. At that time, I was supposed to work on Princess Eliana after I had posted that video. Mother's Bliss, Snow in Love, and The Adventure Awaits Sal. And Red Lady Pirate over the course of like 7 days. None of that happened. I got complete blinders on and was honed in and dying to finish Immortal. So let me show you. This is Immortal by Lucy Beam Love and Stitches. This is a wonderful pattern. Sorry, trying to prevent some glare. I did not use the called for colors, but I will tell you about that in a minute. But I, dun dun dun, have a finish. I'm going to use my big notebook to keep the light from showing through. I have not had a chance to iron it yet. I apologize for that. But holy cow, I'm so excited. I just love it. I absolutely love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Did I mention that I love it? So, absolutely thrilled. But I basically was just like, screw my other plans, I'm finishing this thing. And I had the best time doing it. So I regret nothing, but I am trying now to get better about sticking to my plans. So for this project, let me see. I know this is a 28 count even weave. I don't think, excuse me, that I know the colorway. Yep, definitely 28 count even weave. I'm doing it 2/2. I'm trying to figure out how to hold up all the floss and the thing. I might have to just do it separate. But I have been using color and cotton for mine. So I'll hold it up again. So for the letters, I used Color and Cotton Daydream, which was a special edition. I will be honest, the color is stunning. It's my wall color. It's the color that I love the best and use in pretty much everything. It is my jam. I didn't even realize how much I love this color till I started filming these videos, and then like everything started matching my wall behind me, and I was like, oh, I guess I really like this color. So, but it's, let me put it this way. I did 3/4 of this, one stitch at a time, because it's technically variegated thread and I couldn't tell the difference. So I did the remaining 1/3 to 1/4 of it cross country, and you can't tell. I can't tell. Can you tell? If you can tell, tell me what word I did. Which one I did cross country. I bet you can't. I can't tell. So anyway, it's still a very beautiful blue. Then for these flowers that are in the border, I also used color and cotton. And let me try this one more time. I used avocado is the green, and baby carrots for down here. That baby, the green is lovely, has some really nice variegation. The baby carrots also has some really nice variegation. I don't know if the camera will pick up on it, but it's really, really lovely. I am so thrilled. And I will definitely be passing that pattern along at some point, maybe in my 500 viewer giveaway, if I ever get there. So that was really exciting, but I did not end up touching Adventure Weights, Snow in Love, Mother's Bliss, or Red Lady Pirate this month because of it. I had done a little bit on Princess Eliana already and was kind of planning to give it another day or two, but that didn't happen. But that's okay. And you saw the most up-to-date spot in my whip parade for Princess Eliana, so I did not pull her. I was also supposed to work that week on Share and Air, which is a shawl that I am knitting. We're going to talk about her later. She's in timeout. We'll talk. She's in timeout, and so am I, honestly. Anyway, so let me flip to the next week. So then I came into the week of the 14th. So I filmed, but it took me, holy cow. So my whip parade was the first time I'd really tried to do some editing and really step up my video game. And I'm thrilled that I did. However, it took me 10 hours of active video editing over 3 days. Not uploading time, not counting, just putting in the description and things. Active video editing to do that. So it took a lot of time. So I think I posted it on the 17th or 18th, but it was filmed the previous week. And it took me days to finish this thing. And then like a whole day just to get it to upload. The knitting plans, because I didn't do the full whip parade, still took me 3 to 4 hours of editing. But you can see huge progress there. I'm getting better. I've got my cover photos and all the things. So that was good. But the week of the 14th, I was supposed to work on my chopsticks quilt, which did not happen. So I'm not going to show you that. The quilting whip parade is coming. I have parts of it filmed. Because the pieces are bigger and there's so many kinds of fabric, I'm having some challenges. I'm trying to figure out the best way to show those whips without it being hard to see because it's too far away, or without it being confusing. So we're getting better. I made a few passes and we're almost there. But anyway, so I finished Immortal. I had worked on that the 15th and 16th, which was Monday and Tuesday. On my Wild Wednesday, I worked on Summer Quaker as planned. I know, gasp. But that day was my friend Angela's birthday, and she and I started this together, and she wanted to work on it again. So this is Summer Quaker by Lila's Studio. I will try my best to get it so you can see it without too much glare. So gorgeous. I'll insert a picture of what it looked like last you saw it. I didn't get a ton of progress, but hey, any progress is good progress. Let me just refold this a little. So I got, I think, 1 or 2 strings up here in this little motif. And then I did just a touch more on the green. I think I went this way. Or did I come? No, I went this way. So just a little bit of green and some of the blue, but I got maybe 2, possibly 3 different lengths of thread in. So that's great. And I've thought about if I want to do she has released spring and another one. I don't remember if it's, I think it's summer. No, this is summer. What am I saying? I think it's fall. But they were both very heavily brown. And I didn't love the center motif. Like, this is a summer scene, and I really thought that was neat. But the others, one has a basket and one has, I think, houses. And it's pretty, but I don't know that I would be as enamored with it, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I've got a long way to go to finish this one, but this may be my only of her seasonal Quakers that I do. Next, I was super good, and I worked on my Festive Friday and Sal Saturday piece, which was the same piece in this instance, which was Spring Blessings, and I did them as I was supposed to. This is on, Spring Blessings was a Sal. I will put up the cover photo. It is by Tiny Modernist. I'm doing it on 32 count Jobelan in Bittersweet Light, 2/2 with the called for DMC. And I made some pretty good progress. I will put in where it was last time you saw it. And I'm going to fold it up just a bit so you can get a better view. So I got quite a bit done over here. I got quite a bit done in the bunny. I think the bunny's done to here, except for the 2 stitches of black in the eyes, which I need to put so it doesn't look so creepy. But I just kind of need to fill in the belly. I was doing the darkest color, and this is where his foot is kind of behind the start of the, I'm going to call it a wagon. I have looked at the pattern, and I have decided that I am only going to do the center motif. I do think I will put a border of some kind around it, but I'm going to make that final call when I finish. I also think the white, they look like stars to me or snowflakes, but the white bits that are charted for kind of just loosely in the sky, they look like snow to me. And it's supposed to be spring, so I don't think they're meant to be snow, but that's what I see. So I thought about either changing them and pulling the colors from in the flower basket so that you have these cute little colorful motifs up here. Or I might take one of the motifs, like there's a couple in the corners that were just flowers. And if I've got a border, I can just have the flowers come out of the top, like there's a flowering tree or something there. But again, I'm going to finish this. I have quite a lot to go. It's a very dense cart wagon with lots of brown stitching. The bunny's pretty dense, but the shading is just stunning. I just love it. So I was really pleased to get progress on that. I've found that so far, one day is not enough. I don't feel like I get enough done. I don't feel ready to put the project away yet. 2 days is about perfect. 3 days is too many. I start to get antsy to do something else and a little burnt out on the project. So that works really well because with Mira Mondays, I'm trying really hard to stick to that. With Mira Mondays, I'll have Monday and then Tuesday is my knitting day, but I can get some, some stitches in there. And then Thursday I could do some stitches for my Festive Friday piece if I want, or sometimes the Festive Friday is also my Sal Saturday. So I've kind of got play there where I can get that piece 2 days as well. So that's working fairly well for me anyway, right now. So that was great. I also started a new quilt on Saturday the 20th. I took a class through my local quilt shop, which is called Quilt Patch Fabrics. And I started the Katrina quilt. Give me just a sec. I will find it for you. It's from a book that is all about using the Stripology ruler, which, if you're not a quilter, is this big, jazzy, crazy ruler that does all these things, and it's super complicated. So this is the book, Stripology, Mixology, Book 3. And I am doing Katrina is the pattern that I'm working on, that I took the class on. And I believe, okay, I do have my ruler actually under my piles of cross stitch. So if you're not familiar, this is the Stripology ruler, and it has all these different measurements, and there are slots. You probably can't see too well, but there are slots here. And they go all the way, and there's all different measurements and slots for cutting, and the idea is that you can layer and cut 20 strips at a time kind of thing. And I bought this and I was like, I don't understand how this thing works, because it is a little bit complicated to figure out. So I'm very glad that I took the class, because it helped a lot. So, but I took that, and I am doing the baby quilt for a friend of mine, and I'm using a Art Gallery Fabrics. It's called Flight Path by Jessica Swift. And I've got a layer cake of her beautiful fabrics. I'll try to flip through here. If I can find a shot of the collection with all the little squares that shows you the different fabrics, I will insert it. But I made 4 squares. I'm going to show you 2 at a time. So I made these 2 so you can see where it's opposites, and these 2. And hopefully I will have some very good progress made on this quilt, so that I can send it off to our friend who had a baby. I tend to make baby quilts, I want to make baby quilts for our friends who have babies, but I don't like to send them right when they're first born, because they can't do anything with them. They're not doing tummy time, they're not crawling, they're just eating and sleeping and snuggling and being babies. So you can't even have a blanket in the crib till they're 1. So I tend to make it and then kind of have been sending it at like the first birthday-ish mark. Okay, Katrina quilt class. I also took a bunch of business classes that week, but you don't care about that. Which way are we going? Okay, I have a new way of tracking my plans and my actual stuff that I've done, and it's working so far. I've been using a calendar, but then I was writing the plans in pencil, and I'd erase them and write in pen what I did, but then I couldn't remember what the plans were, if I stuck to the plans. But then it was too much on the calendar, and I couldn't figure out what I did or what it was for, and so this is working out much better. I'll do a short at some point, I can't promise when, of how I plan in my hobby planner, because I have been asked to do that in one of my past videos. But anyway, so that Sunday, the following week was the 21st of January, and I was supposed to work on my chopstick quilt, which is this one over here, which I do love. The primary reason, well, there's 2 reasons why I have not gotten my quilting done as I hoped on Sundays. The first is Sunday is a day of relaxation for us. We go to church in the morning, and then we tend to try to have no other plans. But we spend our time together as a family. So nap time is really the only time I have for hobby time, which is great, which is fine. I want to spend all my time with my kids. But my eldest is getting to a point where he's really not interested in napping anymore. It's a battle. And so we're trying to get him to just have some quiet time where he plays on his own. And that kind of works, but it works for like 20 minutes. It doesn't work for the 2 hours our baby's sleeping. So trying to figure out a potentially better way to get some quilting in. Also, I just got yesterday a new desk for my sewing machine. The one I had before was this convertible cabinet thing, and it probably works wonderfully for other people, but for me, it meant, one, my supplies are where all my kids could get into them and did get into them. Two, it wasn't stable enough. Three, it had this under shelf where your legs go that I kept bashing my knees into. And I also felt because of that, I couldn't get far enough under the desk that I could get to my machine. I'd have my machine pulled toward me, but if you haven't noticed, I have large tracts of land. And so I already have to work around certain barriers and limitations. So then not being able to get all the way under, pulled all the way up to the desk, I was really uncomfortable and it was hurting my back and I couldn't get a really stable hold on my fabric and it just wasn't working. So I'm pleased to say I now have a new sewing desk, which I can't wait to try out. But I was eager to just knock some of the little things off the top of my sewing pile. So I did make a mug rug. The fabric was provided and pre-cut by Quilt Patch Fabrics. I'm part of their English paper piecing club that meets once a month. And in December, they had a little Christmas party and so thoughtfully put little baggies together with the batting and the already cut pieces for the front and then a piece for the back. And I used some binding that I had laying around that I've never used before. Don't look at my binding too closely. I did not do a very good job. It was my very first time ever binding anything, which tells you how far I've gotten on some of my quilts. And it was a little bit of a pickle, but it's done. And my 3-year-old came in and he said, "Mommy, what are you doing?" And I said, "Sweetie, I just finished this. What do you think?" I said, "It's a mug rug. You put your drinks on it." And he looks at me and he looks at it and he takes it from my hands and he's really studying it hard. And he looks at me and he goes, "Thank you." And he just walks away with it. Sorry, I bumped the table. He just walks right into his room with it. And I was like, "Baby, I was going to put that on my desk." And he's like, "No, Mommy, it's going on my nightstand for my water." And I was like, well, okay. So I had to film this while he's not in the house because he would have a fit if he knew I took it out of his room. So just a quick little finish. But then I was feeling spunky on that day. Pardon my reach here. I decided I wanted to start something new. So kind of in that same vein of I need to clean up the random bits of things all over the place and the things that I set aside and say, oh, this is little and it'll be quick and I'll do it someday and it's not even worth putting it away. So I grabbed a new project because I can. I was naughty. I'm going to show you the pattern because it is a free pattern that was sent to me as a free thank you gift with a purchase that I made from a stitchy store that is no longer in business. It was designed by that stitchy store that's no longer in business. And it's also a fairly simple chart. And I feel like most of you could probably chart it yourself once you saw the stitching, if you really wanted to. So I'm not infringing on any copyright. It's not a paid chart. It was completely free as a thank you, and they're not even in business anymore. So this is what it's gonna look like. Just says Noel. And I'm doing it sort of as charted. They charted it, yeah. So it's a green border with red letters. And this bit here, they also did in green, this little, I'm gonna say flower, but I'm actually gonna do mine in gold when I get there. So I pulled some 32 count petite raw Belfast with the white polka dots on it. I was so excited. I honestly haven't even cut this down and I probably won't bother until I'm done with it. But this is as far as I've gotten. So I just finished the border. I did this over 2 days. I worked on it on the 21st and then I worked on it again at the end of the week on Friday the 26th as part of my festive Friday. So, and I am using Color and Cotton Good Cheer as my green. Don't know if you can see the beautiful variegation in this or not. But it has some really nice, subtle but visible variegation. And then for the red, I'm going to be using Color and Cotton Bing Cherry. Let me do this. Maybe it'll show up a little better like that. So not too far to go. I need to do the word Noel and put in my little gold bit. But it was nice because this is just one of those things that it's been floating around. I felt like it would get lost if I even tried to put it in with my pattern stash. So I said, you know what? I want to do it. I'm just going to do it. Wild idea. Okay. So I worked on that. On Monday, I was supposed to work on Fairy Moon. I did not. On Tuesday, I was supposed to work on Shawlography. I did not. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I felt like total garbage. I had some kind of schmeg. My face hurt, my eyes hurt, my ears hurt. I was taking Sudafed and drinking tea. And you know I'm sick when I drink tea because I am a diehard coffee drinker. But to me, tea tastes like hot, wet lawn clippings. It is not something I find particularly palatable. I only drink it when I feel that I absolutely must. So I was drinking tea, eating soup, much better now, but I just was not interested in anything but sleeping and resting and couldn't even focus enough. I was so congested. It was like my whole face hurt, and just looking at cross stitch and knitting and thinking and counting was no bueno. So, however, by Thursday I was feeling better and I stuck to my plans. So we're going in cycles. I'm getting used to having plans. I just winged it last year. So I feel like I'm getting off to an okay start. About 50-50 with sticking with my plans. And I think I'm also learning what I like. For example, wanting 2 days to stitch on a project with 3 being too much and 1 not being enough. So where'd it go? Here it is. I worked on my I Will piece, which is by My Big Toe Designs. Oh, and I worked on Noel that day as well. I worked on Noel Monday, Thursday, and Friday. But this is by My Big Toe Designs. It's a long saying, so I'm not going to read it all to you, but it's very lovely. It's about marriage. And I'm working on it on the 25th of every month because that is the day of my wedding anniversary, was the 25th. I'm using a 32 count mystery linen, and I'm doing it 2/2 with my own color conversion because originally it was going to be like 4 hanks of brown, and your girl could not handle that much brown. My heart wept every time I thought about stitching hundreds of yards of brown. So what I did end up doing was I wanted to find something that wasn't too feminine, because my husband didn't really want a super feminine project. Where'd it go? Here it is. So I decided I'll still do the brown for the border, and I got a good bit done. I had done like, I think like that much. And of course I'll put the before in. But I got all the way down here, got some started down here, and then I started my words. And I decided to use this gorgeous, I think it's Silks for You. It is PR 185 by Silks for You. I actually put it on my yarn swift and wound it like a ball of yarn because I wasn't sure of a better way to keep it, to pull off strings and not have it just get knotted. And this is working pretty well. I used one of the rings that folks use for their yarn drops, and I put it through the center. So that keeps it from sort of falling apart in the middle. And then I could put my tag on there, and it's working really well. And then I can just take little bits off at a time. But I'm really pleased, and it's such a gorgeous color palette without being too feminine. It's very autumnal with the reds and the browns and the greens and the oranges and it's just so delightful to stitch with. And stitching all those words in a beautiful variegated silk will be far more enjoyable than, oh, it doesn't, there you go. You don't want to focus on my face. You want to focus on that. Will be far more enjoyable than stitching in nothing but brown. So much brown. So that's good. But I did a length of brown and then a length of silk, and that was a nice balance. Get back in there. There we go. And okay. I also was supposed to knit on shawlography that week, and I did. I'm going to show you shawlography in just a minute because that's pretty much the only knitting I did. And which way does this go? This way. Okay, so then we come to this week. Again, I was supposed to work on chopsticks. I did not have my new desk. I was not interested in bruising up my knees and being super uncomfortable, so I just didn't. I just spent time with my kids and I just didn't. On the 29th, I was supposed to work on Spring Queen. I had quite a bit of silk still on my needle at the time for I Will. So my plan was to work on I Will and then Spring Queen, but I only got to the I Will. So that got another day. Then I put 3 days into shawlography. So I did 2 days the week before and 3 days this week, which I'll show you in just a sec. And on Friday, which is today, this is Friday the 2nd that I'm filming, I was supposed to work on Black Cat, but I haven't because it's on a very small scrap piece of fabric. And I am somebody who cannot stitch in hand. I have to have a hoop or a Q-snap or whatever, a frame. And I have a very small round hoop that I use for it because it's the only one that fits. I can't find it. And especially since it's my only 1/1 piece, I can't do it without that level of tension to really help me and stabilize my fabric and help my eyes. So if I find it and I can get some stitches in, I'll insert a little clip of it, but otherwise that one's going to have to get rescheduled. What I did do was work on Arms of the Angel, or In the Arms of an Angel by Lavender and Lace. This is the piece I'm doing for my eldest son, sort of my birth sampler for him. And this is what it will look like when it is all stitched up. So beautiful. This is by Lavender and Lace. And I am stitching this on 28 count Jobelin by Witchell in Bittersweet Light, 2/2 with the called for DMC. Oh, I forgot to tell you my start dates on all these. I started this on 3/24 of 2022. Forgive me. Make sure I do that next time. So I put a little work on it today, which is the 2nd. My son's day of birth is the 1st. But yesterday was a little bit of a hot mess and I didn't get to it. I had so many appointments yesterday. Yeah, that's the right way. But I was able to finish off a string down here, get a little more of that red, and then I got a good bit of green in up here. So just plug it away, little at a time. Excuse me, got the sniffles. Okay, so let me show you shawlography now. This was also my, oh, I didn't tell you about my whip go. So my January whip go calls for knitting were shawlography and Sharon Air, with the goal being 2 days on each. I have done 0 days on Sharon Air, and we're going to talk about her in a minute when I get into plans, but I've done 5 days on shawlography instead of 2, which is awesome. As far as my cross stitch whip go goals, I think I mentioned this previously, but I had Knitter Sampler for 2 days and Immortal for 2 days. Knitter Sampler got 3 days this month actually, and Immortal got enough days to finish it. So those are knocked off, ready to go. And we'll talk about what got called for this month when I get into plans. But the last bit of progress I have to show you is on my Stephen West shawlography shawl, and I'll insert the cover picture. Oh, dog hair everywhere. Make sure. So I'm in the middle of a row, but I'm loving it. So I am working on, he calls them I-cord loops. I've been calling them caterpillars because they look like those fuzzy caterpillars you see around sometimes in the spring. But I've been working on these very slow and steady. I haven't even finished. I've got this section over here to add them to, because each one is, so it's 3 times, basically you knit and slip these stitches a whole bunch of times. So instead of knitting it once and continuing to go, you just knit it and slip it and knit it and slip, and you're making this I-cord, and it's awesome. And it's going to be so much fun. And so I don't want to put this one away. Share and Air I have not worked on, as I said. I am frustrated and really bummed out about that piece. But I'm going to grab my plan pieces and come right back and tell you about my plans for the next week. And I'll tell you about Share and Air. And maybe you can give me some advice, because I don't really know what to do about the piece. I love the piece and I love the yarn, but it's really kerfuffled. So I'm going to go switch out my current whips for my plans, because I have too much to show you right now, so I couldn't fit it all on my table. But I am hoping, now that I'm getting a little bit more of a cadence and I actually have written plans, that I can film once a week. And that way it's a little more cohesive and I can show you 1 week at a time, and it's not a super long video either. So let me go get that. I will be back. And we're back. Okay, so let's talk plans for next week. And I'm only going through a week, and I'll talk to you a little bit about WIPCO as well. So for next week, well, really for tomorrow. So today's Friday the 2nd. For the 3rd, let me flip this back over so I can remind myself what I'm supposed to be working on. Oh, National Parks is what is scheduled for the 3rd. So let me grab that. And I am really trying to find that, oops, oh, everything's sliding. I'm really trying to find that little hoop. So I did grab Black Cat because I'm really hoping I can get at least a couple stitches in. All I have is this black and white photo. It is from Just Cross Stitch October 2016. I have the magazine somewhere in this house, but I can't find it. It is on a 28 count mystery even weave, and this is the only project I have ever done 1/1, and it's tiny, and I still have a substantial amount of string left, so I can't even tell you which way it goes. I just have a black ink blot, but I'd like to make some progress, because it'd be cute to have that all done and finished and ready to go for Halloween this year. So I brought that one. Hopefully I get progress on it today and can show you an update next video. The next one I have is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery National Parks. This was a Sal that I clearly did not keep up with. I am doing this on 32 count Belfast, 2/2 with the called for DMC. If I'm not telling you the start date, it's because I have no idea when I started it, which will be the case for many of these older projects, so I apologize for that, but it's been a hot minute, rest assured. So this one, these all need a good ironing. Yes, hi Tigger. Tigger came in and he's glaring at me because I'm not snuggling with him. So this is where I am with this one. So I'll either work down here or I'll work over here. But it'll be nice to get some progress on that. And, oops, forgot the picture. Can't forget my chart. Won't get very far without that, will I? Okay, so that's what I plan to work on tomorrow, which is Saturday. And that is for my Sal Saturday plans, to catch up on all the Sals that I started but never ever finished. Go figure. Okay, so then on Sunday the 4th, which is my day of quilting, or we're going to try it again, I'm working on Charmed Squared, which is this piece up here, and I will adjust. You ever have something in your hand and you don't know where it went? And you didn't like throw it, so you don't know where it got to or how it got there? Oh, here it is. Okay, it's on the floor. So this is by Quilt Addicts Anonymous. The pattern is called Charm Squared. It'll look like this. So what I have done is I have the middle, this part done, all of this. I need to do these additional squares. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these blocks to make. And then there's 4 big corner pieces. I'm going to attempt to tilt this. I'm sorry if it gets all wonky, but this is what I have so far, is this piece here. And I'll give you a much better close-up in my quilting whip parade, as well as in my next update video. But in the meantime, allow me to try to tell you what I am using for fabric. So I am using the Tulip Tango, say that 3 times fast, by Moda Fabrics, and it was designed by Robin Pickens. Really, really pretty. Not my normal crazy bold animal print. I do not remember what my like modeled pink fabric is. I will try to find that. I need to make some index cards with all my notes for these so that I can give you all the quilty information. So that's Sunday the 4th for my Sewing Sunday. For Mira Monday, I'm working on Lady of the Flag, who, oh, I forgot to pull her. Hold on. Sometimes I swear my attempts to be organized make me less organized. So on Monday the 5th for Mira Monday, I will be working on my glorious Lady of the Flag. If you can't tell, I'm rather fond of her. And this is on 30 count linen by Primitive Hair in the colorway pattern Constitution 2/2 with the called for DMC. And I wish I knew when I started this, but I cannot tell you, which is a bummer. Oh, I got threads all over. Okay, and it goes boop that way. So this is where I'm starting at for her. Put it in front of my face so maybe it focuses a little bit better. Because why look at me when you can look at this gorgeous stitching? So I'm very excited to give her some love. And then on the 6th, which is my Twisted Tuesday where I focus on knitting, I am hoping to give Lady of the Flag a second day if I can. So next week is the last week before I start my new job on the 12th. So I'm kind of indulging myself, since I'm getting some of those critical things done this week and last, in extra time on my hobbies, because I will be even less able to dedicate time to moving forward with a new full-time job. So I am working on the 6th on Sharon Air, which is my Twisted Tuesday knitting. So Sharon Air, which is not what in the world did I do with it? Okay, I had the wrong bag. But this is how the relationship has gone with me and Sharon Air. So, it's in this gorgeous bag that I put this gigantic pom-pom on I got for $1 that I wish said who it was made by. Oh. MLD Threads. But I don't know where I got it. I'm pretty sure it was on Etsy, so try MLD Threads on Etsy. But it's a gorgeous bag. But I'll insert a picture of what Sharon Air will look like when finished. I started this on August 16th of 2022. I am using the Miss Babs Yummy 2-ply colorway set, which is fingering weight, in the colorway Mushroom. And it has 4 colors: bittersweet chocolate, turkey red, white peppercorn, and moss. And this is where I've gotten to. And I'm completely obsessed with my colors, with the sections, everything. However, you may have noticed since last time you saw it that I tinked back a section that was in this turkey red color. I need to go back in. I was so burnt out trying to focus because it was a really complicated section I was taking out. I didn't want to drop any stitches. I need to go back in and count and see where I'm at with my stitch count. But all of a sudden I was like 20 something stitches off. 20 something, not 1 or 2, 20 something. And I couldn't figure it out. And so I was looking at other people's to see if maybe I had repeated a section in the chart, but mine was matching up with other folks' projects as far as the number of sections and the number of repeats. I was going through the pattern. I'm going to reprint the pattern fresh again and go through it again. But I have to figure out where I am back on track with the pattern. But it's taken so much energy and brain power, and I'm still off, and I still can't figure out why I'm off, and I can't figure out how to adjust the pattern so that I can make it work, because it's so many stitches that I just am kind of loath to pick it up. And I love it. It's one of, if not my favorite shawl that I've knit to date. I just love everything about it. I love the colorways, but I'm just grumpy. I'm just like grouchy about it. So it got pulled for WIPGO in January, okay? And it was supposed to get 2 days. Everything on my WIPGO board is supposed to get 2 days. It got 0 days in January because I just didn't want to talk to it. Because the knitting gods have a sense of humor, they apparently were like, yeah, nice try. You're going to fix this shawl, whether you want to or not. Because the only project on my Knitting WIPGO board that is repeated twice, that is 2 squares, is Share and Air. And it got pulled for February. So somebody's having a good laugh. So I went, okay, this is the sign that I need to just put on my big girl panties and do it. So on Tuesday, I have very few appointments, meetings, anything. I'm going to drop the kids off. I'm going to take care of whatever I have to right away. And then I am going to sit and I'm going to figure this out. If it means I have to rip the whole thing out and start again, I'm going to cry. I'm going to straight up just like bawl my eyes out. But I'm going to cry, just a little. But I really want to make this work. So I think this was Karma's way of saying, get it together. This is your kick in the butt. Just fix it. Because I have put it to the side for too long trying to figure it out. So that is Share and Air. The next day is Wild Wednesday, the 7th. I am going to work on, see, now I've got a mess over here, on Sophia. She is a cross stitch pattern. And I'm doing her for Wild Wednesday, which is when I'm going to work on my WIPGO pieces. So the WIPGO pieces called for stitching for this month were Sophia, and I'm forgetting my other one. Please hold. And Modern Folk Embroidery Sal. I'm not planning to do the Modern Folk Embroidery Sal this week, so I'm not going to show it to you, but I am doing Sophia, which is by Summer House Stitchworks. Really pretty pattern. There you go. Really pretty pattern. A little bit bigger than it looks once you start stitching it. Let me try to fold it a little nicer for you. But that's where I'm at. I'd say I'm maybe 40% done because I've got the owl done. So plug away on that and get one of my 2 days in. And if I'm feeling spunky, I can work on it on Thursday, which is Tangled Thursday for me, where I focus on knitting. But if I have extra time and energy, I will maybe do a little more on Sophia and get my second day. So we'll see how I get to that. But I'm committing to the one. I'm trying to commit myself from here on Monday to Lady of the Flag. If I do some on Tuesday, that's great. For Wild Wednesday, Sophia, if I do some on Thursday, that's great. So then on Tangled Thursday, I'm going to work on my, here's second Knitting WIPGO call. I will insert a picture what this will look like finished, but this is Woven Chevrons by Stephen West. started this January 2nd of 2021. I see a needle, but I don't see, oh, there it is. I didn't see my actual project. What's going on here? All right, that's the back. You don't want to see that. It's all tangled. Is that the back? Yeah. So this is my very small start. I've got one section done, but I really like it. It's got a beautiful I-cord edge. Very Stephen Westy. It's going to be really pretty. So plugging away on that. I need to do 2 days this month on that, so we'll get one there. No crises with that one. I just got distracted by other things. And then on the 9th, for my festive Friday, we are going to work on the ever lovely Sir Thomas. And I am going to start doing some rainbow gallery fill-in, I think. But I'm not sure if that's wise or if I'm being hasty. So much of this, where am I? I'm down here. And all these colors in here, it's so much of it is rainbow gallery thread that I feel like to get some good progress, I need to start using the rainbow gallery, but I'm worried about if I put it on my stretcher bars, which I probably will because it's bigger. I think it'll be fine to roll that, unlike with beads. But do any of you have any thoughts on, I use roller frames. So it'll get rolled on itself and might have fabric over it at some point, but those threads are not going to be smushed in like a Q-snap. So if anyone has experience with rainbow gallery threads and can tell me if that'll be an issue or not, that would be great. But otherwise, I'm planning to work on the rainbow gallery threads. And this beauty was started on April of 2021 on a 28 count mystery linen with the called for floss 2/2. And I think it goes this way. So there's my start on Sir Thomas. So pretty. So many fun colors in that. I just really like it. That'll be fun to stitch on. And whoops, sorry, see, I keep bumping the table. I really am a hot mess today, even more so than normal. When I get to my little bit of haul, I have a hysterical story to tell you about my hot mess situation, so don't go anywhere because you're going to want to hear it. All right, and the last thing I'm going to work on next week for Sal Saturday, which is the 10th, is going to be my Swans and Shears, which is from Tempting Tangles. It's on 28 count mystery Murano 2/2 with the called for DMC. I have no clue when I started it, and this is where I'm at. So excited to get some work in on that. And we'll see if I change out the slightly putrid green that is called for a different color, or I just decide to incorporate more of the called for other colors. So those are my plans for next week. Let me know. Like I said, I'm going to try to do a once a week just to make it easier on myself and make it more cohesive for you, and to hopefully have a little bit shorter video that makes more sense. But is it easier for you? Do you prefer that I go through the week by day? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and tell you what I'm working on like I did, whether it's cross stitch, knitting, quilting, or do you prefer I go one hobby at a time? So it doesn't matter if I did Monday, Thursday, Friday, I cross stitched, here's the cross stitch, then the knitting, then the quilting. Let me know what you prefer, what's easier and more enjoyable for you. Like I said, I'm still figuring this out, so love your feedback. Couple acquisitions and a very funny story to tell you about, and I need some advice. So, be right back. Okay, y'all. So, some acquisitions. The first thing I purchased is Sarah the Stitchin' Mommy's fault. Actually, the next two things I purchased are her fault. She showed one in a previous video, and I have been trying to resist it, but I gave up. And the next one she showed, I think in her last video, and I had to have it. So the first one I got, and these are both on, I got both of mine off Etsy. This is by Vivsters is how I'm going to say it. Vivsters. You've probably seen this all over the FlossTube community, but this is the cross stitch Quaker Sampler USA flag. Isn't that stunning? I'll try to, you can see the detail. So I'm really excited about this. I don't think I'll start it anytime soon, but I had to buy it. And it's Sarah's fault. So if my husband asks, that's what I'm going to say. Sarah made me do it. The next one is the, let me see, oh, there we go. Is the Christmas Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expression Needle Arts. And I didn't pay any attention when I bought it, but I think I got one that has specialty stitches. I don't know if they have a cross stitch only and one with specialty stitches, but I don't mind a specialty stitch here and there. So look at how pretty. Part of me wants to see if I can find like a Silks For You or something in all Christmas colors and just do it in one variegated Christmas floss, but then I feel like on some of it you'd lose some of the cute detail, like in here. So I may not. And again, I have no plan to start that anytime soon, but you never know. So I bought those. I just watched Helen D's latest video, and I want to buy all sorts of things too. She has the cutest things ever, and she does smaller charts. So it feels like, oh, well, I could buy that and I could stitch it in no time. I have a bin full of charts. I need to just stop. But anyway, Helen D and Sarah the Stitcher Mommy get me into lots of trouble. So does Jessie Marie. So, I mean, pretty much all of you, Red Cross Stitcher, you get me into trouble. I want all the things you're doing. Made by Michelle. You always have stuff I want to do. All of you. You all have things. I want to do all the things. So those were my two acquisitions for cross stitch. Not bad. Okay. There was only two. I have a acquisition for knitting. So Expression Fiber Arts went live, and I hadn't bought from them in a very long time. I've been very good. I have. Truthfully. It's not even sarcasm. But I bought, so they had this pack, and I think it's called the Spring Garden pack of these beautiful, beautiful hanks. They're fingering weight, but I can't remember the name of the base. And the one recommendation I would have, if they ever were to see my video, is that when they send you a kit or a set where it's like this, where it's a certain set colorway, they don't put the tag on that tells you the details about the yarn base like they do when you just buy a single skein. So I would love to have that tag, because when I go through my stash, I'm not going to know what the base is, and I need to try to write it down, but then it's hard to keep it together. So just, you know, if you're listening, one thought. But I think this is just stunning, and I can't wait to make a thing out of it. I have no plans as of right now with what I'm going to do with it. However, they had an option where it came with this gorgeous bag. Look at this stunning bag. Okay, so this is, I don't know if I'd call it embroidered. It's not really embroidered, but it's like thread. I guess I'd say embroidered. Really pretty, beautiful, stout handles. And I need a bag like I need a hole in my head, but I told myself I could use this for the couple projects I have that I don't have yarn bags for that are really big, or my big giant purse is falling apart. So inside it has a zipper. It is a full zipper, which if it doesn't have a zipper, I guess one for you. And somewhere in here there's a pocket. There it is, one pocket. So it can't, you had to get it with that. Oh, and it came with a pack of buttons. So you got the 3 yarns, the bag, and a bunch of wooden buttons. I'm not even gonna take them out of the bag, but just this whole big mix pack of wooden buttons. Really pretty floral wooden buttons. Come on now. There you go. And then I had to order, I am a dog person in general, but I had to order these. So this is these are cat, like 3D printed, I guess, cat stitch markers. How freaking cute are these? And I don't know if it'll show up on here, but they're kind of iridescent. You see that? Maybe a little. And they have a little spot where you can take it off so you can use them separate. And then they all stay on this beautiful cat holder. And I think you could use this cat holder for a cable needle if it was just, you know, to hold your stitches back a few at a time, but that's just me. I also pre-ordered 2 colorways of yarn, and they made matching yarn bobbins, and I ordered some of those, but they are not here yet. However, so these came the other day. Running a bunch of errands, went up to the mailbox. We have like a community mailbox. So I drove to the mailbox, got all the stuff, and I'm coming in. I pull into the driveway and I get all this stuff, right? I've got my huge giant Mary Poppins purse. I've got a coffee mug. I've got a box. I've got the package with my yarn in it. I've got a bunch of mail that's everywhere. I've got all my kids' junk that I'm constantly taking out of the car and putting into the car. And so my hands are super full. And I had on some like workout leggings, which are terrific for running errands, by the way. And the pair that I had on are just a little extra slippery, okay? They're just a little slippery sometimes. But this specific pair that I had on the day was slippery. And so I'm carrying all this stuff, and I'm trying to walk from my car up the pathway, up the porch to the front door. And these slippery pants just start shimmying down and slipping down and just slipping and sliding and shimmying. And so in my mind, I thought I need to walk faster because there is no way I am dropping my bag of yarn to pull up my pants, okay? It's just not happening. I was like, I can do this. I can make it. I don't need to worry about it. Nobody's going to see anything. So here I am. My arms are full, and it had been raining, and there's mud everywhere. So I don't care how well they package this thing. Ain't nothing or nobody is going to get me to drop my bag of yarn into this muddy situation, okay? So I decide, okay, I just need to go faster. But the faster I walk, the faster they slide down. And I finally made it to the door and was able to set things down to get the keys out and to pull up my pants. But before I had managed that, I got to the door, arms full, and they had slid to the point that at 10 o'clock in the morning, it was a full moon out, okay? It pulled everything down with it, and it was just a full moon, 10 o'clock in the morning. And as I'm standing there about to throw all this stuff down, I'm thinking, oh, thank you so much. I'm thanking the Lord that no one has driven by, because I live in an HOA community. It's not like I'm in the middle of nowhere. So I'm just like, thank you so much. Nobody's driven by, at least like nobody's seen this disaster that is happening. And right as I'm like almost to the finish line, but the full moon is out, I hear a car drive behind me, and one of my neighbors got quite the show. I can only imagine what they told their family when they got home. I was so mortified, but I was just like too committed at that point. I'm not dropping this yarn. I don't care. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it, and I'm not dropping this yarn. So I mooned one of my neighbors. That's my bad. But I was not letting this yarn fall in the mud. It was not happening. So that's my level of dedication to my hobbies. Anyway, so I'll know at the next HOA meeting if somebody won't make eye contact with me, then I'll know who it was I mooned. So that's what's going on with my life. I don't have any more acquisitions per se, but I have an acquisition adjacent. That's the last thing I want to ask you about. So I put up a YouTube short, and I also put up a poll on my Instagram about the Expression Fiber Arts 2024 Mystery Knit Along. I can't show you what it's going to look like. Because it's a mystery knit along. I have no idea. But I've always wanted to do their mystery knit alongs, and I just haven't been in a place to start one. I don't know why I think now, with 2 little kids and a new job that I'm about to start, now is the time, but in my mind, now is the time. The pattern, at least for now, is free. So I signed up, I got the pattern. I have the first month, which was January, that they released. However, there's 4 options. You can make a blanket or a shawl. I'm planning to do the shawl. And you can make either asymmetrical or a symmetrical version of the pattern. I prefer symmetry, so I'm doing a symmetrical shawl. That's the plan anyway. However, there are 12 colors. Every clue uses a different colorway. And some of them require 2 hanks, not just 1, for the amount of yardage that you need. And one, I cannot afford that amount of yarn. It's just, it would be like $300 or $400 for that amount of yarn to just go and put something together. So that's just not feasible for me right now. But I also have a huge stash, and I am trying, and I'm doing very well so far to minimize my incoming purchases. This yarn that I showed you is the first yarn I've bought in well over a year, maybe 2. I've been very good, and I want to try to stick with that. So I have this colorway that I pulled, and it's 12 different yarns, and I have 2 hanks of the ones where I needed 2 hanks, and I will insert a picture here. And here's my question. Feel free to answer in the comments. Is this pretty, or is it meh? I like earth tones. I think the palette is pretty. Where I get stuck up on it is it right in the middle. I like up until the mustard yellow, but once I get to that dark plum and those kind of tannish browns, that's where I got stuck. I like the first third and the last third, but the middle, I was stuck. And I think a couple of my friends said, why don't you just start clue 1 with the first yarn you want to use, and then just pick 1 yarn at a time. Because the other thing I don't know is, with it being a mystery knit along, if I pick something that's heavily variegated and there's a very detailed pattern, I'm not going to see it. But a lot of my stash is variegated, so I don't want to go buy 12 or 16 or 20 hanks of yarn. I don't have it in the budget. I don't have any interest in doing it. So if I need all solids, that's also something that seems like a lot. So you tell me, do you like this colorway that I have put together, or do you think I should just try again? I have other yarns I could try again. I could do something brighter, but you tell me, keep the yarns or try again. And if when the February 1 clue comes out, because I don't think it's out just yet, I'm not dying to get started because I haven't started yet, there's a chance that I could wait until maybe 6 months in, or I could wait even until next year and do this year's knit along next year when I know what all the parts are going to look like. But again, I just don't want to, I can't invest a ton in new yarn, and I don't want to have more yarn. I have so much yarn it's overwhelming, which is a blessing and an amazing problem to have, and I'm so thrilled and grateful and spoiled rotten. But I just don't, I want to use and appreciate what I have. So let me know your thoughts. Anyway, I know today was a little disjointed. My brain is super foggy with the new job and trying to do all the things. I've been in an online art and digital design conference for a couple days. I'm very good at way overcommitting myself to everything and have done so with gusto the last couple weeks. So forgive the long drawn out update, but I appreciate all of you. I hope you loved seeing my projects. I will hopefully be back in a week with another update. And until then, happy stitching, happy knitting, happy quilting, happy sewing, happy all the things that make you happy and bring joy to your life. But just have a great day. Thanks all.